Be honest. How many times have you said, "Let me just wait for one more confirmation," and then price ran without you? Or worse, you waited for confirmation, you entered late, and that was the exact top. The candle finally closed. The structure finally aligned. The extra indicator finally agreed. And that is when the market reversed. This video is not about bad strategy. It is not about lacking knowledge. It is about fear disguised as discipline. Because sometimes when you say, "I need confirmation," it is not caution. It is avoidance. It is the fear of being wrong. It is the fear of losing again. It is the fear of feeling stupid for entering too early. So your brain creates something that sounds responsible. It says, just wait a little more. Let the market prove itself. Let it be clearer. Let it be safer. But what you are really waiting for is emotional comfort. And trading does not offer comfort. There is an illusion many traders live inside. They believe more confirmation equals a safer trade. More indicators equals higher probability. More waiting equals less risk. It feels logical. It sounds mature. It looks disciplined. But psychologically, something deeper is happening. You are trying to remove uncertainty. And trading will never give you certainty. No matter how many confirmations you stack, you are still exposed to risk. No matter how many timeframes align, the next candle is still unknown. No matter how clean the setup looks, it can still fail. So when you keep asking for more confirmation, what you are really asking for is relief from discomfort. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are waiting to feel comfortable. And markets do not reward comfort. They reward execution. They reward clarity. They reward those who act when their rules are met, not when their emotions are calm. If your system gives a valid signal and you hesitate because you need to feel safer, that is not discipline. That is fear negotiating with your plan. And the longer you let fear dress itself up as caution, the more opportunities you will watch move without you. Let me introduce you to someone. Her name is Sarah. Sarah is not a beginner. She understands structure. She marks liquidity properly. She identifies break of structure clearly. She waits for the retest. She waits for an extra candle close, just to be sure. She drops to a lower time frame for alignment. She checks one more confluence. She wants everything clean. On paper, Sarah looks disciplined. But here is what keeps happening. By the time she finally enters, the move is almost done. The impulse is gone. The clean risk to reward is gone. The entry that made sense earlier is no longer attractive. And now she is stuck with two options. She either misses the trade completely and watches price hit her original target without her, or she chases late because she cannot stand the feeling of missing out. And that late entry feels worse than taking the original risk ever would have, because now she enters emotionally, not strategically. Now she is reacting, not executing. And this creates a dangerous emotional loop. First, she feels fear of being wrong. She does not want to enter too early and look foolish. So she delays the decision. While she delays, price moves. She misses the move. Then regret hits. She replays the chart in her head. She tells herself she knew it. She tells herself she saw it. And the next time a setup appears, she waits even more. More confirmation, more safety, more proof. This is how caution turns into paralysis. Now let us break down what is really happening psychologically. This is called outcome avoidance. Your brain hates three things more than almost anything else in trading. It hates being wrong. It hates looking foolish. And it hates losing money. So it creates a protective strategy. It says, wait until it is obvious. Wait until everyone can see it. Wait until it feels certain. But here is the problem. When it becomes obvious, the risk to reward is gone. When it becomes obvious, the early entry is finished. When it becomes obvious, the edge has already paid those who acted before comfort arrived. So when you keep waiting for confirmation, you think you are protecting your capital. But in reality, you are protecting your ego. You are not afraid of losing money as much as you are afraid of being wrong. You are not afraid of risk as much as you are afraid of the emotional hit that comes with imperfection. You are not protecting your capital. You are protecting your ego. And that realization changes everything. Now, let us talk about something most traders do not realize they are addicted to. Confirmation. At first, it feels responsible. It feels intelligent. It feels safe. So you start adding things. 5 indicators on the chart. Multiple time frame alignment. You wait for an extra candle close, just to be sure. You check if news is coming. You open Telegram to see what others are saying. You scroll through group opinions. You ask, is anyone else seeing this? And every time you add something, you feel slightly more comfortable. But that comfort does not come from clarity. It comes from dependency. Because the real issue is not confirmation. The real issue is that you do not fully trust your edge. When you trust your system, you act when your rules are met. Not when it feels perfect. Not when everyone agrees. Not when the market looks obvious. You execute when your criteria are satisfied. But when you do not trust your system, you keep adding filters. One more indicator. One more time frame. One more opinion. One more candle. It never ends because the insecurity is still there. And here is the uncomfortable truth. More confirmation is often just disguised insecurity. It is fear wearing a technical mask. Now, let us be balanced. Confirmation itself is not bad. Healthy confirmation exists. Good confirmation is predefined. It is written down before the trade. It is rule-based criteria. It is a clear entry checklist. It is structure that has been back-tested. It is knowing exactly what must happen before you act. That is discipline. But unhealthy confirmation looks different. It is adding rules mid-trade because you suddenly feel uncomfortable. It is waiting because your emotions feel shaky. It is moving goalposts when price gets close to your entry. It is wanting the market to prove itself just a little bit more. That is not structure. That is emotion. The difference is simple. Rules versus emotions. Rules are decided before the trade. Emotions appear during the trade. If your confirmation process changes, depending on how you feel, it is not confirmation. It is fear negotiating with your plan. And every time you let emotion rewrite your criteria, you weaken trust in yourself. The goal is not to remove confirmation. The goal is to remove emotional negotiation. Because once your rules are clear, execution becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. Let us talk about the real cost of overconfirmation, because it is not just about missed trades. It is deeper than that. Overconfirmation costs you your risk to reward ratio. When you wait too long, your entry gets worse. Your stop stays the same. Your target stays the same, but your edge shrinks. You are no longer entering at the optimal point. You are entering at the comfortable point. And comfort is expensive. It also costs you confidence. Every time your system gives a valid signal and you hesitate, you weaken trust in yourself. Execution is a muscle. If you do not use it, it does not grow. You cannot build confidence by watching setups. You build it by taking them. Overconfirmation also costs you data. When you skip valid setups because you wanted more proof, you rob yourself of statistics. You do not gather real feedback. You cannot measure your edge properly. You end up thinking your system does not work, when in reality, you are the one interrupting it. And the most dangerous cost of all is identity. After enough hesitation, a thought forms quietly in your mind. Maybe I am not cut out for this. Maybe I am too emotional. Maybe I just do not have what it takes. But the problem is not skill. It is hesitation. It is not that you cannot trade. It is that you do not consistently execute what you already know. Now let us fix that. Here is your 3-step execution reset. First, pre-define confirmation. Before the trade, write down exactly what must happen. What confirms your bias? What invalidates the setup? Where your entry triggers? Be specific. Be simple. And once it is written, no additions are allowed. No new filters mid-trade. No emotional upgrades to the plan. Second, use the 5-trade commitment rule. Take 5 trades strictly following your written rules. No adding filters. No waiting for extra comfort. No changing criteria after a loss. Evaluate after 5 trades, not after 1. 1 trade proves nothing. 5 trades start to show patterns. This builds trust in your process instead of your emotions. Third, shrink risk, not confidence. If you feel like you need extra confirmation, reduce your position size. Make the risk small enough that it does not threaten you emotionally. Smaller risk creates calmer execution. Calmer execution creates consistency. Remember this, confidence is built through repetition, not perfection. You do not gain confidence by waiting for flawless setups. You gain it by executing your edge over and over again, cleanly, consistently, without negotiation. Trading is not about avoiding being wrong. It is about being wrong correctly. Being wrong correctly means you followed your rules. You respected your risk. You executed your edge. A losing trade taken according to plan is a professional loss. A missed trade because of fear is a psychological wound. If your system gives a signal and you do not take it, you are not cautious. You are disconnected. Disconnected from your plan. Disconnected from your preparation. Disconnected from the trader you are trying to become. Caution follows structure. Disconnection follows emotion. And the longer you trade from disconnection, the harder it becomes to trust yourself again. Now ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you skipped a valid setup? Not a random trade. Not a forced entry. A valid setup that matched your rules. What were you really feeling in that moment? Fear. Doubt. Or the need for the market to reassure you? First, because here is the truth. The market does not reassure. It reveals. It reveals your discipline. It reveals your hesitation. It reveals whether you trust your edge or your emotions more. If you have ever said, I just need one more confirmation, and later regretted it, comment one word. Execute. Not for me, for you. And subscribe to Daily Trader Mindset if you are ready to trade with structure, not fear.